Everyone underestimates me, but then they turn their back and I'm like, boo!
I thought we were kind of trying to move away from the idea that people with DID have a murderous alter, like in Split. Maybe this person was using it as a symbol rather than what it looks like, but even so, if you have an alternative state who might lash out on other people, that is still not a healthy way to go. While it can be the reality for a lot of people, talking about it through therapy instead of glamorizing that version on social media might be a good idea. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to some people who claim DID who are promoting bullying other people online, alters having use, and age-regressed little alters on camera is totally fine. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Your alters aren't, but mine is. You can't talk for all systems. A good example is how the A system has a alter for just driving. I have an alter for just doing drugs. He's a horrible addict. He only comes out when there are hard drugs around. He's just an addict. He has no other personality but drugs.
So I do want to preface that I'm not a professional. I can't say whether these people do or don't have DID. It's more the portrayal of it that can be a little bit distressing. Could it be possible to have an alternative state whose explicit purpose is to do drugs? Yes, but why is this a healthy thing to portray online? This person might have been describing a fragment. Some alters are very limited in their role. For example, they may only have a small number of emotions, hold particular isolated memories, or have a very limited job. Special purpose fragments are even more limited, for example, existing to carry out a very limited role and never acting beyond that. I kind of look at it in the same way as if this person didn't have DID. Would it be okay for me to come on camera and be like,
yeah guys, I did a bunch of today.
You know what I mean? But because it is DID, it can also lead to stigma and misconceptions of how DID works. Publicly associating use with DID can lead to stereotypes and misunderstandings of the disorder. Maybe if you were to, I don't know, talk about this alternative state's abuse and how they're getting help in treatment, that would be less stigmatizing.
Listen, I want everyone to know that from this post onward, absolutely nothing happened this morning involving a mental breakdown, half a jar of vodka, and a $30 bag of 1,000-milligram gummies. Anyways, that never happened. Everything's fine.
I mean, again, a lot of people with various mental illness might be able to relate to this. I mean, sure, I guess you could argue that you are allowed to post this online if you want to, but DID is already a highly stigmatized disorder. In past videos, I have said that people with an imitative version of DID, it can be highly distressing to people with genuine DID to see only, oh, my perfect alters in our perfect headspace. And sure, if this person does genuinely have DID and they're sharing a genuine experience, great, but what are we doing about it? We're just going to live with it. I do understand that like substance abuse is not something that can be completely fixed within one therapy session, but I don't know, when I've talked about my own personal experience with substance abuse, it's not something that I would want to brag about. It's more for informational, what did I do about it? I'm not going to comment on whether like legal substances like cannabis do or don't help a person with DID because I don't have it, and I don't want to say like if you do have DID you should turn to these substances, because I don't know, what if you genuinely do have DID and you're like, oh, well, this person is doing it and it seems to be helping them, and you turn to it and it leads to higher levels of dissociation and even flashbacks. But at the same time, turning to these maladaptive coping skills kind of put a band-aid on a bullet wound. It's still going to be there the next day.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a kind of question for individuals with DID in the way that if you really go all out and dress how you truly feel in this alternative state, what happens if you switch? I can't say that this person doesn't have it. I mean, every single person with DID is different, but DID is a complex psychological condition that results from severe and repeated childhood trauma. Discussions that superficially focus on how alters dress can deter people from the deeper psychological aspects of the disorder. disorder. For a lot of people, I can imagine it is distressing to talk about these symptoms of PTSD, flashbacks, and dissociation on camera, but at the same time can make someone with genuine DID feel dismissed in the way that, oh, you know, my alters don't just dress up and have a good time and go back in, but rather they might have symptoms of SH, you know, do things when I'm not here that deter my life. I do think that it's perfectly fine for an individual with or without DID to post a video like this. Why are we tagging it #DID? We're not talking about the disorder. There's nothing really about the disorder in this post other than you are an alternative state. So I have covered the Mirade system in the past, and at the same time, I cannot see it being appropriate for any person over age to just bully people underage, whether they are or aren't an alter. Blaming your actions on an alternative state doesn't justify the actions that were caused. In the same way that a lot of the time, not always, BPD is a disorder that is caused by trauma. So while it's not your fault that these traumatic events during childhood happen to you, it is your responsibility to seek help. I've even seen some individuals with dissociative identity disorder be like, well, if we're going to be friends, you're going to have to put up with abusive behavior from different alternative states. And that's just not the reality of it. Just because you have an alternative state who might have these behaviors doesn't mean that it's okay. There could be so many reasons why a therapist might decide they don't want to see you anymore, and by the way, this person is like tagging it with #DID. If there is little progress, they might believe you need a higher level of care. Sometimes there might be a mismatch in a therapeutic approach, or your personalities just clash. Obviously, I wasn't there during your therapy session, and I obviously can't tell whether this person does or doesn't have DID, but at the same time, if they believe that they are viewing an imitative version of a disorder, they might not believe that their therapy can be beneficial for you at this time. This can prevent the client from receiving the help that they truly need. While I obviously do think people faking disorders do deserve therapy.
I'm a little altered, and if I'm Kokon, so I must be a DID system. I'm 4 and 6 years old, but I'm in an adult body, so I can drink alcohol. I'm a little in a DID system, so of course I'm gonna get in trouble for what I just said. I'm a little in a DID system, of course people will kill people for me. And DID system, so of course, if I cry, I get my way. Duh.
I have heard that having an age regressed or a little online can be potentially harmful. I mean, we have to kind of view this in the same way as what if a 6-year-old had access to TikTok? What could possibly happen to them? While littles or age regressed alternative states are not actually children, they possess the mindset and behaviors of a child, reflecting a younger state of emotional and psychological development. Along with not this person specifically, but in some cases you can see a fetishization, I'm so sorry, of age regressed alters. Again, not this person specifically, but also there can be some, it's online. There are people, all kinds of people online, if you catch my drift. This could lead to an exploitation from individuals who might have a malicious intent. Every single person with DID is different. I mean, I've heard from people who say that their littles do taxes for them, but other individuals with DID might have a little who is completely unaware of what social media is. They might still believe that it is the year, 2006. Some individuals have talked about their littles being in distress, or others might only be interested in toys. How interested is a 6-year-old in posting online? Without supervision, a child can engage in content online that is not safe for them. And at the same time, people are saying, oh, this little was co-conscious, but at the same time, still why?
What's it like to do acid when you have dissociative identity disorder? My name is Pluto. I am a person with DID, and I have done acid multiple times, both before I knew I had DID and afterwards. For me, what I have felt is that it kind of takes everybody in my system and sort of like pushes them all to the front. So it's not like everybody is fronting at the same time, but it's like they're all kind of hanging around. And this is really cool because it can allow for more direct communication between all of my system members. It doesn't really take a lot of effort for anyone to say something to someone else. And also, I can hear it more directly when I'm on acid, which is really cool for me.
I understand that maybe this person wasn't saying, hey, you should be doing exactly what I'm doing, but also advertising illegal substances can be questionable if this person does or doesn't have DID. It opens up the idea of someone who does have DID watching it and they think, hey, maybe this can help me. Also, this might be completely petty, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you would think if you were diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, you would know that it's not dissociative identity disorder. But at the same time, the effects of LSD vary widely from person to person. Each person will have a different experience. It's unpredictable, can lead to dangerous behavior and harmful psychological effects. So really, this is my own opinion, but let's pretend it is a legal substance like cannabis if it is legal in your state. This might be actually a genuine question, but would a therapist suggest that you turn to these substances in order to gain communication with your alternative states? Editing Michelle, so in this video I was super against it, but I did find this online. The use of psychedelics for treating PTSD is an area of ongoing research and interest, particularly in a therapeutic setting. Some therapists and researchers advocate for their potential benefits in a certain controlled conditions, as they may help patients process traumatic experiences differently. However, these substances are not typically recommended outside of clinical trial or without professional guidance due to legal restrictions and potential risks. Therapists who specialize in psychedelic-assisted therapy would be the ones to discuss this option with patients in appropriate contexts. Also, hallucinogens can bring up repressed or traumatic memories. So to deter you a little bit from this, I can speak about how people have described being on hallucinogens as an actual traumatic event. You can experience distortions and hallucinations that you genuinely believe are real. High anxiety, paranoia, increased heart rate, and blood pressure. Flashbacks in which you believe that distressing memories from your past are happening right now over and over again, and even when you are sober again, this can be distressing for days or even months. This is known as a bad trip, so I'm just letting you guys know, you know what I mean? But I would be very curious to know what your thoughts were in this video. I was kind of sharing my own personal experiences and research, but I could be wrong. So yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling risky, and comment below. Thank you so much, it helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much to each and every one of my members for supporting my efforts on this channel. It genuinely means the world to me. But to everyone, I hope you have a good day, night, whatever the case may be, and peace out.